Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Nkamba and I am a proud Kimbangis Christian. For those who are not aware, this is a Christian channel, Christianity through the Kimbangism religion. So we will be talking about God, we will be talking about the Trinity, we will be talking about humanity, and also we will be digging in, finding out secrets or hidden things that most people in the world do not know through the Kimbangis religion. So, this is part 3 of our series into the Kimbangism as a social movement. If you have not watched part 1 and part 2, you're definitely going to be confused. So I suggest that you pause this video, go watch part 1. After finishing part 1, go and watch part 2 because this is part 3 and I'm going to be just digging right straight into this video. In part 2 we spoke about Papa Simon Kimbangu continuing his ministry, preaching to the people of Congo, giving them hope, telling them that there is a way through their current situation. We all know that Congo was colonized at that time, and when I speak of Congo, I'm speaking of the 3 Congos. So I'm speaking of the French Congo, which is Congo Brazzaville, and then I'm speaking of Congo Kinshasa, and then I'm speaking of Congo Angola. These 3 countries, before it was colonized, it was one kingdom, so it was known as the Congo Kingdom. I did mention this in part 2. So moving forward, so Morel and all the Belgium authorities got together and they all decided that it was time for them to put an end to the movement. They saw it as a threat. I will be going deeper into the story as I go, explaining how they saw this as a threat or why they saw Papa Simon Kimbangu's movement as a threat, because we all know that Papa Simon Kimbangu was not an assassin. Simon Kimbangu was a Baptist catechist who belonged to the Baptist Mission Church. Okay, so Papa Simon Kimbangu became a Baptist, was a Baptist and became a catechist while serving in the Baptist church. So when Papa Simon Kimbangu started his ministry, he did not preach against the Baptist church. Papa Simon Kimbangu did not preach against the colonial authorities. The only thing Papa Simon Kimbangu did was preach the word of Jesus Christ to the native Congolese people that were under oppression, that were under slavery. So Papa Simon Kimbangu was preaching to them, giving them hope, telling them that there was a way out of their current situation. So Papa Simon Kimbangu introduced the Bible to them. So Papa Simon Kimbangu was a Baptist catechist. He did his ministry in the Baptist church. So he became a catechist in the Baptist church. And if Papa Simon Kimbangu had this role within the Baptist church as a catechist, that is because they saw Papa Simon Kimbangu had a gift. They saw that he had a gift of preaching and he knew how to preach, and he did his work accordingly. That is why he was a catechist within the Baptist church. So why arrest this man who was only doing the work of God by spreading the new gospel and giving healings to the needy and giving hope to the people of Congo? Why was Papa Simon Kimbangu? Why did Papa Simon Kimbangu's movement all of a sudden become a threat? Of course, many of us were asking ourselves, but why put an end to a movement that was non-threatening? Because we all know that Papa Simon Kimbangu was only preaching to the natives. He was preaching to the people of Congo, giving them hope, making them open their eyes and see the real reason to the poverty and the slavery and all of that stuff that was taking place. Morel and the Belgian authorities saw this as a threat because they saw that this native man who suddenly had this voice to bring nations together, they saw that Papa Simon Kimbangu was preaching the word of God the truthful way. So they decided to arrest Papa Simon Kimbangu because they saw that Papa Simon Kimbangu was preaching the word of God truthfully and differently to the ways that the colonizers were preaching the word of God, or the way that they brought the Bible to the fellow Congolese people. They saw that Papa Simon Kimbangu changed the ways of preaching. They saw that Papa Simon Kimbangu started interpreting the Bible differently and not the way that the colonizers brought it to us. They saw it as a disadvantage to them. What was this disadvantage? or the Bible was brought to Africa by our colonizers, it was brought to us with a cover up. It was not brought to us in truth, okay? There was a cover up. There was something behind that, okay? There was something behind the minds of the colonizers that they were after, okay? So they brought the Bible as a cover up, but that was not the reason why they came to Africa, to colonize Africa. Simon Kimbangu took that Bible and was preaching Christianity the honest and truthful way. Simon Kimbangu showed people the Bible and also showed the people what the colonizers were hiding within the Bible. So the colonizers got worried when they saw Simon Kimbangu preaching to the people and opening their mindset, like showing them the real problem that was lying within the community or within black people or the black race. So this got the colonizers very worried, and they saw it as a threat and decided they had to put an end to Simon Kimbangu's ministry, or they had to put an end to Simon Kimbangu's work. Otherwise, they had a lot to lose. So the colonizers saw the power in Simon Kimbangu. They saw how powerful he was. Imagine, people were leaving their home countries, traveling from Angola, traveling from Congo Brazzaville, just to go and see Simon Kimbangu. And they were not only traveling for miracles. Let's not get confused, okay? They were not only traveling for miracles, but they were traveling to listen to the new gospel, to listen to the preachings that Simon Kimbangu was giving to the people of Congo, okay? That was the main reason. So people were gathering, okay? Nations were coming to Simon Kimbangu, and this was thousands and thousands of people, okay? They were coming to listen to Simon Kimbangu and also receive healing. So whoever came to listen to his preachings, and if they had like sicknesses or illnesses, Simon Kimbangu would also take that opportunity to help them by giving them healings. The colonizers, it was really a threatening movement, okay? Because they were like, people that we preach to, remember, people were leaving hospitals, people were leaving railway construction works, people were leaving the homes of the colonizers to go and listen to Simon Kimbangu. So people were also leaving their churches, their home churches, or the colonizers' churches. They were leaving their churches. The black natives, were leaving the churches to go and listen to Kimbangu. So they were very shocked, like, people that we have given preachings to, people that we introduced the Bible to, are now going to seek preachings and healings from Kimbangu? No, we have to put an end to this movement. We seriously need to put an end to this movement. Otherwise, the future will not be according to how we want it to be. On the 6th of June, 1921, I know in the previous video, part 2.1, part 2, I mentioned by saying the 5th of June. Sorry, this event did not happen on the 5th of June. It happened on the 6th of June, 1921. So on the 6th of June, 1921, when Morel and the Belgian authorities decided to invade Nkamba, to arrest Simon Kimbangu, and we know that the arrestation did not occur on the 6th because Simon Kimbangu, God did not plan for it to happen on the 6th of June. When Morel and the troops and the Belgian authorities invaded Nkamba, before they invaded it, Simon Kimbangu already knew what was going to happen. He already felt it in spirit. So Simon Kimbangu told his followers that something was about to happen, that Nkamba was about to be invaded by Morel and his troops. Kimbangu told his followers, saying, whoever is not going to be able to withstand what is about to happen, please leave now. So Simon Kimbangu did tell his followers that something big was about to happen, that Nkamba was being invaded. So Simon Kimbangu said that, and those who saw that they were not going to be able to withstand what was going to happen in Nkamba, left. So some of the followers left and some obviously remained with Papa Simon Kimbangu. The soldiers entered into Nkamba with weapons as if they were ready to kill. When Morel saw Papa Simon Kimbangu, he ordered the troops to arrest Kimbangu. So the soldiers went up to Papa Simon Kimbangu and started beating him. They started assaulting him, beating Papa Simon Kimbangu with the big weapons they had on them. So they were beating Papa Simon Kimbangu. And the people that were surrounding Papa Simon Kimbangu, his followers, they were all watching with utter shock. Imagine these soldiers, walked in with guns. Like there were 24 soldiers, exactly 24 soldiers that Morel invaded Nkamba with. So Morel took 24 soldiers with massive, big weapons. So the people were afraid. Obviously, people didn't know what to do, but they were watching as these soldiers were assaulting Papa Simon Kimbangu, and of course they were not happy. So as this was happening, Papa Simon Kimbangu's followers went up to where Papa Simon Kimbangu was, and they started removing the soldiers, trying to stop them from what they were doing to Kimbangu. So the Belgian soldiers managed to remove Papa Simon Kimbangu's followers. So they were removing them as they were trying to stop the whole chaos. They removed the followers and placed them on one side. So they took all Papa Simon Kimbangu's followers, placed them one side, and then they took Papa Simon Kimbangu, placed him on the other side, and continued to assault Papa Simon Kimbangu. Oh my gosh, my father went through a lot. Papa Simon Kimbangu went through a lot, okay? And this man did nothing. Papa Simon Kimbangu didn't do anything to deserve what he was being given. The assault continued. The soldiers continued beating Papa Simon Kimbangu with the weapons that they had in their hands. And Papa Simon Kimbangu's followers just couldn't take what was happening. And then the chaos just continued. And then the soldiers started firing their arms up in the air, and then they were firing. As they were firing, bullets were like flying everywhere. The bullets were flying everywhere, and Papa Simon Kimbangu's followers, one of the followers took a rock and threw one of the soldiers, threw one of the Belgian soldiers. Let's remember, before the event took place, Papa Simon Kimbangu ordered his followers to remain non-violent. He said, let the power of God take place. Remain non-violent. Don't fight against these people. Let them do what they came to do, but don't fight. So Papa Simon Kimbangu was a very peaceful man. He wasn't a violent man. So even though he knew what was going to take place, he told his followers, let no one react to what is going to happen. That is why he even told his other followers, whoever's not going to be able to withstand what is about to happen, please leave now. So going back, hit the soldier. That soldier then fired his arm straight to one of Papa Simon Kimbangu's followers. It was a lady who was there. She was carrying her baby on her back. As we all know, our African moms, we always carry our babies on the back, So she was carrying her baby on the back, and that bullet went straight and hit the baby on the back, and the baby died immediately. So the chaos continued. It was crazy. It was hard to watch. Whoever experienced that on that day, it was traumatizing. It was very traumatizing. The chaos continued. It was crazy. And the soldiers that had Papa Simon Kimbangu and that were beating Papa Simon Kimbangu, the spirit told Papa Simon Kimbangu to run. As Papa Simon Kimbangu tried to grasp himself away from those soldiers, he tried and he took a step. As he ran from them, I don't know what happened, but obviously the Spirit of God was there guiding Papa Simon Kimbangu. So the soldiers were all lying on the floor, beaten. We don't know how, but they were on the floor. And then Papa Simon Kimbangu ran. As Papa Simon Kimbangu ran, he fell underneath, like he fell on the ground. He fell on the ground and into a mud. So Papa Simon Kimbangu fell on the ground into a dirty mud. And as he fell, he held onto his Bible. So Papa Simon Kimbangu got up from the dirty mud that he fell on. As he got up, he held his Bible, he looked at his Bible, and his Bible was like, there was no stain, like there was no mud stain on his Bible. And when he realized that, he took his Bible, and then Papa Simon Kimbangu went in the spirit, of course. We will explain this deeper into the story as we go. So Papa Simon Kimbangu went and took his family, took his wife Mama Mwilu and his children to a village, a far by village from Nkamba. Like he took them in the spirit, took them to this village for safety, and he kept them there. So that is how Papa Simon Kimbangu managed to escape. So his arrestation did not occur on the 6th of June 1920. So from the 6th of June, when this event took place, when Papa Simon Kimbangu managed to take his family to a safe place, Papa Simon Kimbangu did not return to Nkamba since that day. He never returned to Nkamba. Papa Simon Kimbangu went to a refuge, seek refuge, if I could say. He kept himself in a village called Mbanza Sanda. That is where he was, and he continued doing his ministry, preaching to the people while he was there. And Morel was still looking, or in the outlook, for Papa Simon Kimbangu. So what was the reason for Papa Simon Kimbangu being arrested? We all know that this man did nothing wrong. Papa Simon Kimbangu didn't do anything wrong to no one. But the Belgium authorities, or the colonizers, they saw his movement as a threat because they looked into the future. They saw with their eyes what was going to happen. That's why they were like, no, we have to put an end to this movement, because if we do not put an end to this movement, the people of Congo are going to wake up. Remember, we were colonized. The people of Congo were colonized. Africa did not belong to Africans anymore. Africans became slaves in their own land. Our minerals, our diamonds, and our oils, everything was being exploited. So the colonizers were benefiting. Being in Africa, colonizing Africa, came with a benefit towards them. So when they saw Papa Simon Kimbangu giving hope and opening the minds of the natives and of the Congo people, they saw it as a threat. They said that if we allow Papa Simon Kimbangu to continue his ministry, preaching freely, it is not going to benefit us. We are going to lose. They saw that Africa was one day going to be, Africa was not going to be under their domination anymore. It was not going to be under their domination anymore. That's why they saw that as a threat and said, we have to put an end to this movement. If possible, we have to kill Papa Simon Kimbangu. So they wanted to not only put an end to Papa Simon Kimbangu's work, but they wanted to put an end to Kimbangu's name. They didn't want this man to exist anymore. That is why Morel took 24 soldiers to Nkamba, a holy place, because where Papa Simon Kimbangu was, he was with his followers. They were not dancing, feasting, or partying, or rebelling against the colonial authorities. No, Papa Simon Kimbangu was preaching the word of God. So it was a holy place. Why invade Nkamba with soldiers carrying weapons? If they were only there to arrest Papa Simon Kimbangu, why didn't they do it in a more decent way, if I could say? But they brought soldiers with guns. So that already tells us that they had one motive, and that motive was to kill Papa Simon Kimbangu. That motive was to end Papa Simon Kimbangu's ministry. And that motive was not only to end his ministry, but to end Papa Simon Kimbangu's existence. But God had something else planned. God had another thing planned. Like I said in the previous video, we cannot mess with the power of God. God is always a step ahead of us, or a step ahead of evil. Okay, so we're going to be continuing with the story. Like we know, Papa Simon Kimbangu handed himself over on the 12th of September 1921, which was the day he decided, or which was the day that Jesus Christ and Papa Simon Kimbangu decided for Papa Simon Kimbangu to hand himself over. So in the next video, we're going to be going deeper and finding out what happened when Papa Simon Kimbangu got arrested, and obviously Papa Simon Kimbangu was trialed, and this is what we're going to be going into next.